Welcome to the Love Government. I'm Dennis Leary, and we are presenting a series of videos called sex cards. These are the cards. They're called sex cards for a reason, because they're in the context of the Love Government and they're part of the Love Government program. And they're zeroing in on a very important part of our society, which is sex. And these cards are tarot cards. They're also interpreted as love cards. This is the overall structure. This tells the story of where we're going, why we're doing it, and how to do it, and why we do it. The why is that we become true lovers, and that's a very nice thing to be. It's the only thing that's going to endure, the only thing that's going to last. If you can believe the reports of conscientious people who come to the end of their life, and they look back on their life and they say, if I had to do it over, I would focus more on love. Try to be more loving and be loved. That's the essence of life on this planet. We're on the 18th card in this series, getting through this whole structure on this relationship, building up this relationship, building up our character in a love character. And we're in the suit of time now, and we're coming to the sweet part of it, which is the dream, and that sweet dream. And that is up here at this level, coming up through the spaces. These are all spaces in our self. The body space is the most basic. Then comes the emotions. Then comes the fantasy life. And now comes the dream life. Dream is related to fantasy, but it's a more subtle form of fantasy because it involves the daydreams we have and the night dreams. And the dreams are very deeper than the fantasies. And they also flow over into the night dreams, and then they come to the daydreams, and they connect. In the night dreams, you often are working out stuff that you can't work out in the day. So if you have the experience like I do, go to bed tired and worried and anxious, and then during the night that's worked out in your dreams, and you may remember them or not, and then you wake up and then you're refreshed in the morning. The worries are gone, and something happened in that night state, and that's called the dream state. So that's the sweet part of the dream. So the dreams can be sweet or they can be sour. This state of our mind or consciousness can be sweet or it can be sour. These are the extremes. We push them out to the extremes so you can understand them. Nobody really lives that way out in the extremes. Some people get pretty close. Because if you go too far out, you fall off the end, and you come right back to the other side, or it just flips over the other side. Like these cards flip, they go very fast. And you go to either extreme, you could flip over to the other side just like that. And this goes like this too, see, so sweet and sour. So we try to go down the middle, so life becomes a sweet, sour experience. And if you use the highway metaphor, you don't drive down the middle of the road, because you're going to cause an accident. Not the exact middle. You go to either one side. In the United States, we go to the right side of the road. That's called the sweet side. In Britain, it'd be reversed. So often it's not, it's a meandering path. But we hit it down the middle pretty much. And so let's look at the sweet side here. This is the page of pentacles. She's looking at her dream in that pentacle, that 5-starred configuration. And the dream is really about us because the 5-figure extension is the human body. So she's demonstrating through the cards something about ourselves. And she's gathering together information from all dimensions. All of these cards relate to every other card. It's called the holistic point of view, or it's called the natural, feminine point of view, where things go in circles and spirals and waves, as opposed to the patriarchal version, which is more linear. We're going from the big bang to the big bust. Doesn't make any sense, but it makes a lot of money, and that's what's important to the patriarchy. Or there's a middle stop. We go from the big bang to the big buck to the big bust. That's the whole story. It doesn't make any sense. But the real story is the dancing lover in place. So patriarchy picks out one little motion, like her hand might go in a straight motion this way when she's dancing, and they say, oh, that we can control. So we take that out, edit it out, string it out in a logical line, and then charge money for it. This is the great theory of evolution, in brief, which is why it's so scientifically boxy. It's too, but it's controllable, and it can be monetized. Anyway, we're not doing that. We're doing the dream, which is big dream, the big dream. We say life is a dream. Maybe it is. Maybe, are we being dreamed? And when we wake up, go to the dream state, is that like more real than this one? And you're in the dream state, you're looking down on this one, and you say, that's a dream. And they say, no, that's a nightmare. Why do we ever go there? So it's a big dream. Life is a dream. Roll, merrily down the stream. Life is but a dream. But the question is, who is dreaming it? Who is dreaming it? Well, we say it's a love dream. The lover is dreaming it. The lover is dreaming it. She's the dream. She's our dream lover. And in the love government, we suggest going directly to the source. In other words, go to the lover, however you want to conceive of her or picture her. And then all of the other relationships in this governance system will fall into place. Two lovers in a human perspective, it works not so much looking at each other, but looking at something that draws their attention. So we have two eyes, but the two eyes aren't looking at each other. Our two eyes are looking out there and prospectively. So if you're talking about lovers as eyes, they're looking in the same direction, more or less. But they have different perspectives, but they're not looking at each other so much. Oh, they do that too, in a way. Lots of that. But this is the broader philosophical point of view. And so we have a sweet dream, and then very similar, we have a sour dream on this side. And the man there, or woman, is looking at fruit, which we're going to presume in this way of storytelling, is that it's sour fruit. So these are the extremes, sweet and sour, and these cards are spinning all the time, so we have sweet and sour point of life. But if you go out to the extremes to get a sense of it, if you bite into a sour fruit, right, you go, oh, it's sour, and you don't eat it. But if you bite into a fruit that's too sweet, you go, same reaction. Oh, it's too sweet. So this is what the extremes are, So you mix them, though, and then you get bittersweet or sweet and sour. It's kind of nice. And I prefer a little bit on the sweet side, like I use the metaphor of the road. Keep a little bit on the sweet side. Because the sour side, if you go too far to the sour side, you end up with this, and it's not so sweet. So life, I think, is meant to be more sweet than sour. Now, how do you tell the difference? Well, that only comes by experience, really. I mean, you can read all the books in the world, and you can listen to stuff like this, but unless you experience it in your first space, which is your body, and you feel it in your emotions, and then you can fantasize about it, and then you start to dream about it, then it becomes incorporated into your whole system. It's called integration of things, and that only comes with living life. That's the way I experienced it anyway. It's taken me like 73 years to kind of turn the corner. I think when I got to be 70 years old, in 2010, then I think I began to turn some kind of a corner, because 7 and 70 are lucky numbers. So maybe I got lucky, and my lucky stars came into play. But most of my life has been on the sour side. As the poet said, how I got home, nobody knows, or how I survived so many blows. So a lot of people have that experience. How did I ever get this far in life? And I look at myself and I think, how did I ever get this far in life? Something good must have been happening. Some grace was being extended. Somebody had their hand looking over. A guardian lover was with me somehow, I think. Because I always kind of think way back, I kind of had a hankering for love, a need for love, and I kind of programmed that. I wanted that, even though I looked for love in all the wrong places most of the time, made all the mistakes you can make. I was a metaphysical, as they say. I fizzled out with my metaphysics. The love government, then, has a dream. We have a dream of love for people getting along, people enjoying life, remaking this world the way it was intended to be, which is a paradise, the Garden of Eden. And we can use the modern technologies, but they should be formatted into the plan as a plan for man or a woman. And if they're not in alignment with love, they're going to be out of alignment, and they're going to slip over to the really sour side, the really bad, suffering, horrible side. And that, as I said, is this model trying to get away from the earth and really trying to get away from genuine, healthy, safe sex, because people don't know, because they're brainwashed, and as I said, brain snatched continually with a power over model, which will use anything to increase its power. It uses money. The money system today is nothing but a power scheme of transferring wealth up to the top of the pyramid. And so then sex itself, which is a holy, sacred ritual in which you go into ecstasy, and we only have a trace of this, but in the love culture, they went into, particularly the women, because they have higher sexual capacity, 5 or 6 times higher than a man. That means in terms of nerve endings and so on. So women went into sexual ecstasy for hours at a time. Now we have traces of that today. But if it's in a cultural context, as this report said, it's a wonderful experience. And today we have slipped away from that, way down into the sour bottom of the barrel, so to speak. And now, if we choose to do that, it's for our good and our happiness, but we're going to go against the power pyramid, and we're going to have to reinstate this kind of pyramid. We'll do it gently, slowly. We're not revolutionaries. We will do it in a very loving way. Thank you for being with us on this journey. When we do these things, it's not just empty talk. In fact, I could sit up here and say, nonsense. I could tell, and if something else is going on, that's what's going on. The words also are important, but the words often just are distractions. I mean, we don't listen to the words so much, but we listen to our feelings, and we have a sense of things, and something starts to happen, go on. So seeds are being planted here with what we're doing. They're called reenactment ceremonies. Even in the political world, you reenact, you have an election every 4 years or whatever, and you do ceremonies. And in the religious churches, they do ceremonies. But they've lost their inner juice, so to speak. Many of them, most of them, have lost their inner sense of what it's about. It's about reenacting the love experiences, because then you get to see what that is and enjoy that, and then that's what makes the world a nice place to be, And you can believe it or not, but there is no escape from it. You're not going to escape somewhere else. Love demands justice, as we'll see. Anyway, thanks for being with us. We give the love sign again, which is simply extending a hand of help, or extending blessing, or extending goodwill. So thank you. Love, love, and more love.